The God Code awakens. Word count, 5,000. The warship's shadow. The sky screamed. The Odyssey II wasn't just a warship, it was a leviathan of rust and rage, its hull scarred with battle marks no human vessel should have survived. Its guns pulverized the colony's defense towers, each blast sending shockwaves through the bone-dust plains. But it wasn't attacking Lyria or Jace. It was clearing a path. A voice boomed from the ship's comms, crackling with static and something older. Lyria, VX9. You've done well. But the game's not over. Lyria's claws dug into Jace's arm. That's not my father. The transmission glitched, revealing the speaker for half a second. A human face, but the eyes were vexery. Glowing. Split-pupiled. Wrong. Then the feed cut. The boarding party. A drop pod slammed into the ground 10 feet away, its heat shields melting the sand to glass. The hatch exploded open, and out stepped 4 figures in patched-up EVA suits. The leader removed his helmet. Captain Elias Vey looked like a man dug up from a grave. His skin was gray-tinged, his beard streaked with bioluminescent blue, vexery blood, Jace realized. The captain's left eye was normal. The right one pulsed with the same silver light as Lyria's. Lyria froze. You're infected. Vey coughed a laugh. No, kid. I'm upgraded. Behind him, the other 3 crew members removed their helmets. Dr. Lyra Talon, cybernetic jaw, vexery scales growing up her neck. Sergeant Ren Corsair, his fingers fused into claws. The twins, one human, one clearly not, sharing a single neural port in their skulls. Jace stepped back. What the hell happened to you? Vey ignored him, staring at Lyria like she was a math problem he'd solved. You triggered the God Code. Good. But you didn't understand it. Lyria's tendrils twitched. It's a weapon. No. Vey tapped his temple. It's a wake-up call. The truth in the blood. They dragged Jace and Lyria aboard the Odyssey II, a ship that shouldn't exist. The corridors were lined with hybrid corpses and tanks, their DNA spliced mid-transformation. The bridge's viewport was cracked, held together by veins of living metal. Vey slid a syringe from his belt. You think the Vexery made the God Code? Nah. They stole it. He injected the serum into his neck. His Vexery eye blazed, projecting a hologram. A planet. Not Vexus, 9. Something older. Its surface shifted like liquid, its continents rearranging every few seconds. Meet the architects, Vey said. The first race. The ones who wrote DNA like code. The Vexery found one of their tombs, dug up the God Code. Used it to build an empire. Lyria stumbled. And Project Ascendant? Our countermove. Vey grinned. Human DNA's a chaos variable. Unpredictable. Mix it with Vexery. You get you. He tapped Lyria's forehead. A key that changes the locks. Jace interrupted. So what? You're fighting the Vexery with better mutants. Vey's smile vanished. We're fighting for the hybrids. The ones in the labs. The ones they broke. Lyria's just the first. A shudder rocked the ship. Alarms blared. Dr. Talon swore. Captain. The Vexery just woke up something bigger. The Titan rises. On the view screen, the colony's central spire cracked open. Something climbed out. 30 feet tall. 4 arms. A face that was half Vexery, half machine, its jaw unhinging to reveal a second, smaller face inside. Subject Omega, Vey whispered. The Vexery's final solution. Lyria lunged for the controls. We have to run. No. Vey grabbed her wrist. We have to fight. Jace shoved him back. With what? That thing's a walking apocalypse. Vay's infected eye flickered. With her. He pointed to Lyria. Time to ascend, kid. The choice. The Odyssey 2's medbay was a nightmare. Lyria lay on the slab, her body pinned by restraints as Vay's crew hooked her to the ship's core. Jace fought them, but Sergeant Corsair knocked him out cold with a single punch. When he woke, Lyria was floating. Not metaphorically. Literally. Her body hovered in a column of liquid light, her tendrils unspooling into the ship's wiring. Her veins pulsed black, then gold, then a color Jace couldn't name. Vay watched, his good eye wet. She's rewriting herself. Becoming what the architects intended. Jace screamed. You're killing her. No. Vay didn't look away. I'm freeing her. A shriek tore through the ship. Omega was climbing the hull. The transformation. Lyria's eyes snapped open. No pupils. Just light. She spoke, but her voice wasn't hers anymore, it was layered, like 1,000 whispers in unison. I see the edge of the dark. The Odyssey 2's engines roared to life, not with fuel, with Lyria's blood. The ship lurched, throwing Jace into a wall. On the view screen, Omega ripped open the hull. Lyria lifted a hand. The ship's plating melted, reforming into a spike that impaled Omega through the chest. The Titan howled. Then exploded. The aftermath. Silence. Lyria collapsed, the light fading from her skin. Jace caught her, his hands burning where he touched her. She was cold. Too cold. Vay knelt beside them, his face unreadable. She's not done. The god code's in her now. It'll keep changing her. Jace gripped Lyria's hand. Can you stop it? No. Vay stood. But she can. Lyria's fingers twitched. Her voice was faint, human again. Jace. I saw it. The architect's world. It's alive. Dr. Talon cursed. Captain. The Vexery fleet's mobilizing. They're heading for the rift. Vay closed his eyes. Of course they are. The rift. The rift was a scar in space, visible even from Vexus 9's surface, a tear where the architect's planet bled through. Vay explained as the Odyssey 2 limped toward it. The Vexery want to control the God Code. We want to destroy it. Lyria? She's the only one who can choose. Jace stroked Lyria's hair. What happens if she destroys it? Every hybrid dies. Vexery revert to pre-code savagery. Humanity? Maybe fine. Maybe not. And if she controls it? Vay smiled. Then we remake the universe. Lyria sat up, her new eyes glowing faintly. I know what I have to do. The fleet. The Vexery armada waited at the rift's edge, hundreds of ships, their weapons charged. The Odyssey 2 was outgunned. Outnumbered. But not outmatched. Lyria stood at the viewport, her body radiating energy. Jace. Last chance to run. He took her hand. Never. She kissed him. Then stepped into the void. The ascension. Lyria fell. But not down. Forward. Into the rift. Into the God Code's heart. The Vexery fleet opened fire. Lyria raised her arms. And the universe bent. The rift and the reckoning. Word count, 5,000. The edge of everything. Lyria fell upward. The rift wasn't space. It wasn't darkness. It was the absence of rules, a wound where reality frayed into fragments of possibility. Around her, the Vexery fleet's missiles froze mid-flight, their propulsion flames crystallized into jagged amber sculptures. Time stuttered. Light bent backward. And then it spoke. Not words. Not sound. A pressure inside her skull, unfolding like a virus. We are the architects. You are the key. Will you turn? Lyria's body unmade itself. Her bones splintered into fractals, her blood evaporated into equations. She saw the Vexery, eons ago, crawling into the architect's tomb, stealing the god code like thieves snatching embers from a dying fire. Captain Vey, younger, idealistic, injecting himself with corrupted code to understand it. Jace, in a future that hadn't happened yet, holding her shattered corpse on a dead world. She screamed, but her voice rewound itself into silence. The Odyssey II's last stand. On the ship's bridge, Jace vomited as the rift's gravity twisted his organs. The view screen showed Lyria dissolving into the chaos. We have to pull her out, he roared. They didn't move, his infected eye locked on the rift. No. She's exactly where she needs to be. Dr. Talon grabbed Jace's arm, her scaled fingers drawing blood. The god code's alive. It's testing her. A shriek tore through the ship. The twins collapsed, their neural port bursting with black fluid. The human one choked out, it's hungry. Then the Odyssey II's engines failed. The Vexery fleet advanced, their weapons charging. The Architect's gift. Inside the rift, Lyria reassembled. The voice coiled around her. Choose. Control US. Or destroy US. Lyria reached, not with hands, but with will. She touched the god code. And it touched back. A circuit completed. Her body ignited. The fractal war. Reality split. One moment, the Vexery fleet was firing. The next, their missiles bloomed into flowers mid-air, petals scattering in zero-G. Lyria stood at the rift's heart, her form unstable, 8 arms, wings of light, a crown of screaming faces melting in and out of her skull. The Vexery flagship hailed the Odyssey II. A hologram of High Chancellor Draxus materialized, his scales peeling in real time. You fools, he rasped. You've unleashed it. Then his image fractured into 1,000 copies, each whispering a different prophecy. The hybrids will rise. The stars will eat themselves. Jace Holt dies screaming. Lyria raised a hand. The rift obeyed. The price of godhood. Jace witnessed the exact moment Lyria stopped being Lyria. Her eyes shed their pupils, becoming windows into the rift. Her voice, when she spoke, vibrated through the ship's hull. The god code is a parasite. It builds. It consumes. It lies. Vey collapsed, clutching his infected eye. No, take it back. It's our salvation. Lyria looked at Jace. In that gaze, he saw everything she was losing. Her laugh, rough and surprised, the first time he called her beautiful. Her fingers, interlaced with his, in the dark of the bone tunnels. The way she flinched when the Vexery called her defect, even as she pretended not to care. Jace, she whispered, just Lyria, for 1 second. I can't hold it. Then the rift convulsed. The choice. The architects offered her 2 paths. Become the god code's vessel. Rewrite the universe. Save the hybrids. Erase the Vexery. Sever the rift. Kill the code. Save Jace. Die with it. Lyria chose. She tore the god code out of her chest. It screamed. So did Jace. The end of the world. The rift collapsed inward, swallowing the Vexery fleet whole. The Odyssey II spun wildly, hull plates ripping away. Lyria fell, her body breaking apart into embers. Jace leaped. And missed. Her fingers brushed his. Then she was gone. The aftermath. Silence. The Odyssey II drifted in dead space. The rift was sealed. The Vexery fleet vanished. Jace crawled to the view screen. Lyria? No answer. Vey laughed, his infected eye extinguished. She killed it. She actually. Jace broke his nose. You used her. Vey spat blood, still grinning. And she saved us. The message. 3 days later, a signal pinged the Odyssey 2's comms. A voice, faint but unmistakable. Jace. I'm here. But I'm not whole. The coordinates led to a derelict Vexery scout ship. Inside. Lyria's body, curled in a cryopod. Alive. Changed. Her skin swirled with living code. Her eyes, when they opened, were human again, but her pupils dilated into fractal spirals. She touched Jace's cheek. I couldn't leave you. The new threat. Dr. Talon scanned her, then backed away. Captain. The god code's still in her. It's just, sleeping. Lyria shook her head. No. It's part of me now. Jace held her tighter. What does that mean? She looked at the stars. It means the architects aren't gone. They're waiting. A shadow passed over the scout ship's exterior cam, something vast, shapeless, watching. Then it vanished. The outcast in the shadows. Word count, 5,000. The colony of silence. The planet Vexus 9 was a graveyard of whispers. Its crimson sand swallowed sound, its twin suns scorched away mercy, and its people, the Vexery, had perfected the art of forgetting. Jace Holt, a human engineer with calloused hands and a stubborn heart, hated it the moment he stepped off the transport. The air smelled like rust and something sharper, something buried. His assignment was simple: repair the failing reactor in Sector 12, log the damage, and leave. No one told him about the eyes. They were everywhere. Slitted, unblinking, the color of tarnished silver. The Vexery stood a head taller than him, their scaled skin rippling with subtle chromatophore patterns, blacks and grays for mourning, though Jace didn't know what they mourned. They didn't speak to him. Didn't acknowledge him at all, except to step aside when he passed, as if his very shadow was contagious. On his third night, he saw her. The girl in the hangar. The old hangar was a skeleton of bent metal, its ribs jutting into the violet dusk. Jace was there to scavenge spare parts when the hair on his neck prickled. He turned slowly. At first, he thought it was a malfunctioning drone, a tall, slender figure standing perfectly still in the shadow of a gutted starship. Then it moved. She was 9 feet of coiled grace, her limbs too long, her spine too straight. Bioluminescent veins pulsed under her charcoal skin, mapping her body in constellations of pale blue. Her hair wasn't hair at all but a living cascade of translucent tendrils, each one faintly glowing. And her eyes. You're staring, she said. Her voice was low, layered, like two people speaking at once. Jace swallowed. You're not a drone. A flicker of something like amusement crossed her face. No. I am Lyria. The mark of the defect. The Vexery found them. 3 guards in obsidian armor materialized from the gloom, their pulse rifles humming. The tallest hissed, "You do not speak to the defect." Lyria didn't flinch. She simply folded in on herself, her glow dimming to near invisibility. But Jace saw the way her fingers trembled. Back in his cramped quarters, Jace hacked into the colony's restricted logs. The files were fragmented, but one phrase repeated: Project Ascendant. Subject, Lyria, VX9. Status, termination pending. Notes, genetic instability detected. Hybrid traits dominant. Risk of contagion. A video clip loaded. A younger Lyria, strapped to a table, screaming as a Vexery scientist injected something into her neck. The caption, Suppression Serum number 47 failed. Proceed to final disposal. Jace's fists clenched. The first touch. He found her again at the edge of the abyss, a cliff where the colony dumped its waste. She was throwing rocks into the void, each one taking seconds to vanish into the black. They call you the defect, Jace said. Lyria didn't turn. They are not wrong. Bullshit. He stepped closer. You're different. That's not the same thing. She finally looked at him. You are small. Soft. Fragile. Why do you not fear me? Jace held out his hand. Because no one deserves to be alone. For a heartbeat, nothing. Then. Her fingers brushed his. A surge of light erupted from her skin, arcing up Jace's arm like liquid electricity. He gasped, not from pain, but from the images flooding his mind. A lab. A child Lyria, crying as they cut into her. A whispered phrase, you were made for more. Lyria yanked back, her glow flaring panic-bright. You saw. Jace exhaled. Yeah. And I'm not leaving. The hunt begins. The alarms woke the entire colony. Unauthorized genetic contact detected, blared the automated voice. Containment protocol initiated. Lyria grabbed Jace's wrist. Run. Or you die tonight. They fled through the bone tunnels, ancient sewage ducts lined with fossilized vexery skeletons. Lyria moved like a shadow, her bioluminescence doused. Jace's boots slipped on centuries-old grime. Behind them, the hunters followed. Not just guards. Drones with scalpels for hands. Lyria snarled. They want me alive. They will shred. A drone lunged. Jace barely dodged, his shoulder scoring red. Lyria moved. Her tendrils lashed out, wrapping the drone's limbs. With a twist, she ripped it in half. Jace stared. Okay. That's new. Lyria's eyes burned. You still wish to stay? Jace wiped blood from his cheek. Try and get rid of me. The truth in the dark. They hid in a dead reactor core, the walls still warm from its last meltdown. Lyria curled into herself, her glow flickering like a dying star. I was designed to bond, she whispered. But not with my own kind. Jace frowned. Then who? She touched his chest. You. The files made sense now. Project Ascendant wasn't about fixing defects, it was about creating a bridge between species. Lyria was the key. And the Vexery would rather kill her than let that key turn. The choice. At dawn, the drones would flood the tunnels. Jace had one option, trigger the reactor's fail-safe, buying them time to reach the surface. Lyria gripped his arm. If you do this, the colony dies. Jace met her eyes. And if I don't, you do. Silence. Then, a sound like breaking glass. The reactor's core shattered. Lyria's scream was the last thing Jace heard before the world turned white. The bond that burns. Word count, 5,000. The aftermath of light. The world came back in shards. Jace's lungs burned like he'd swallowed the reactor's core. He blinked against the white static fading from his vision, his body numb except for the weight crushing his ribs. Lyria, curled over him like a living shield. Her bioluminescent veins were scorched black, her tendrils brittle as glass. She wasn't moving. The hangar was gone. In its place, a crater veined with molten metal, the air shimmering with radiation. The drones were scattered debris, their blade hands melted into grotesque sculptures. But the silence was worse. No alarms. No hunters. Just the hiss of dying fire and Jace's own ragged breath. He rolled Lyria onto her back. Her chest rose, barely. Hey. Look at me. Her eyelids fluttered. One pupil was shattered, the iris bleeding silver. You, live. Her voice was a crackle of static. Jace's hands shook as he ripped his sleeve, pressing it to the neon blue blood seeping from her side. Why'd you cover me? You could have died. Lyria's lips twitched. You are, my choice. A sound cut through the smoke. Footsteps. The ghosts in the smoke. They emerged like wraiths, figures in tattered robes, their faces hidden behind rebreathers. Not Vexery. Too small. Too humanoid. The leader knelt, peeling back Lyria's torn tunic to reveal the brand on her collarbone, Delta 7. Ascendant's daughter, the figure rasped. We thought they'd scrapped you. Jace shoved them back. Don't touch her. A chuckle. The figure removed their mask. Human. Wrinkled skin, eyes milky with cataracts, but undeniably earthborn. Name's Rook, they said. Last survivor of the Odyssey crew. We've been waiting for her. Lyria's breath hitched. You, know me. Rook's grin was all teeth. Kid, we made you. The underground. They dragged Lyria and Jace through the bones, a labyrinth of collapsed tunnels beneath the colony. The walls were carved with names. Dr. Elias Vey, Project Lead. Asterisk Lieutenant Mara Finn, Gene Splicer. Subject Delta, 1 through 6, terminated. Rook's hideout was a graveyard of tech, rusted cryopods, shattered holograms of Earth cities, and a mural of a double helix wrapped around a planet. Project Ascendant, Rook said, lighting a cigarette with a plasma torch. Human Vexery hybrids. Meant to broker peace. Then the Vexery Council decided peace was boring. Lyria lay on a medcot, her veins slowly regaining their glow. I was a weapon. Nah. Rook tossed Jace a stimpack. You were a key. Meant to unlock the Vexery's genetic vault, their god code. But you grew a conscience. So they labeled you, defect, and threw you in the dark. Jace's stomach twisted. And the others? Delta, 1 through 6. Rook's smile died. The Vexery ripped them apart. Studied their bones. Lyria's the only one who lived past puberty. Lyria's claws punctured the cot. The blood memory. Rook injected Lyria with a neon green serum. This'll jumpstart your healing. Side effect? You'll remember. Lyria's back arched off the cot. Her tendrils lashed the ceiling as the memories hit. A nursery. Tiny hybrids in tubes. Lyria, smallest of them all. A man in a lab coat, human. Vexery, whispering, you're the one who'll change everything. The scream of Delta, 3 as the Vexery dissected her alive. Lyria vomited blue blood. Jace held her shoulders. Breathe. Just breathe. She gripped his wrists, her pupils dilating into voids. They hurt us. And they'll hurt you. Rook leaned in. Now you see why we hid. But kid, you've got a choice. Die down here. Or burn their empire to the ground. A tremor shook the tunnels. Dust rained from the ceiling. Ah. Rook sighed. That'll be the Council's new toys. The Hollow Men. They weren't drones. They weren't even alive. The Hollow Men shambled through the tunnels, Vexery corpses reanimated with cybernetics, their chests pried open to make room for fusion cores. Their voices were a glitchy chorus. Delta 7. Return. Or be recycled. Lyria stood. Her tendrils sharpened into blades. Jace grabbed a plasma cutter. Rook. Any weak spots? Yeah. Their cores. Also, they explode. The first Hollow Man lunged. The dance of blades. Lyria moved like liquid death. She spun under a Hollow Man's grasp, her tendrils slicing through its spine. It collapsed, then detonated, throwing Jace against the mural. Rook wasn't fast enough. A hollow man impaled them through the gut. Heh. Rook coughed blood. Told you I was last. Jace rammed his plasma cutter into the hollow man's core. Eat shit. The explosion blinded him. When the smoke cleared, Lyria was gone. The God Code. Jace found her in the old lab, her hands pressed to a cryotank. Inside, a child. No, a clone. Smaller. Paler. But her face, Lyria's face. The label, Delta 8. Lyria's voice was raw. They never stopped. A hologram flickered to life. A Vexery scientist, his scales peeling from radiation burns, spoke. Final log. The human DNA is unstable. But Delta 7's bond proves it, hybridization is possible. We proceed with Delta 8. If she fails, we purge the project. The Council will not tolerate another mistake. The hologram dissolved. Lyria shattered the tank. The promise. Jace pulled her back as the child's body collapsed into slurry. Lyria. They made me to serve, she snarled. To be a tool. Jace grabbed her face. You're Lyria. Not Delta. Not a weapon. You. A roar shook the lab. The ceiling split open, revealing a Vexery dropship, its cannons charging. Lyria's glow intensified. Then let me be me. She leaped, not at the ship. At the lab's mainframe. Her tendrils plunged into the terminals. The God Code, the Vexery's genetic master key, flooded her mind. The dropship fired. Lyria raised her hand. And the blast curved around them, vaporizing the wall instead. Oh. Jace whispered. That's new. Lyria smiled. Now we run. The surface. They burst into the blood-red dawn, the colony in chaos behind them. The hollow men were turning on their masters, their corrupted programming making them attack any Vexery in armor. Lyria staggered, her veins overloading with stolen data. Jace. The signal tower. He understood. You're uploading the God Code. To every Vexery ship. Every colony. They'll all remember what was done to us. The tower was guarded. By Commander Draxus himself. The face-off. Draxus was 8 feet of scarred fury, his armor grafted to his flesh. Delta 7. You were meant to die quiet. Lyria bared her teeth. I don't do quiet. Jace fired his plasma cutter. Draxus caught the shot on his wrist shield. Human. Draxus sneered. You bonded with garbage. Lyria moved. Her tendrils speared Draxus's shield, yanking him off balance. He slammed her into the tower. And Jace tackled him over the edge. They fell. The choice, again. Jace grabbed a cable, swinging wildly. Draxus clawed at his legs. Above, Lyria reached for him. Jace. Draxus laughed. She'll kill you. Like all half-breeds do. Jace let go. He dropped. And landed in Lyria's arms. Draxus hit the ground. Bones cracked. Lyria's grip was crushing. Never. Do that. Again. Jace grinned. Worth it. She kissed him. Electric. Desperate. Alive. The tower beeped. Upload complete. The storm coming. The sky split. Not with ships. With light. A Vexery warship tore through the atmosphere, but its guns weren't aimed at them. It fired on the colony. Lyria stiffened. That's not the Council. A transmission crackled over Jace's stolen comms. This is Captain Vey of the Odyssey 2. Delta 7, we read you. Hold on. The real fight's just starting. Jace looked at Lyria. They. As in. The scientist. Her eyes widened. My father. The warship opened fire.